you've been a sports lifer. I mean, obviously calling games has been your life, but really, baseball has been most of your adult life. What's the best thing about living a baseball life?
Well, one, you're living out your fantasies. How many people can't wait to go to work every day? I mean, I know growing up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin that, it was a great way to grow up. You certainly learned a work ethic, but I know how hard my mom and dad milked and worked that farm. I mean, no matter how well they milked the cows in the morning, still had to do it again that night. And so that was work. Now, I was too young to milk, but I was there to bale hay and do all of those things, even when we left the farm with other friends and whatnot. That's work. And I so appreciate all the farmers in this country for what they provide all of us. And then my dad worked in a job, at a printing plant that he hated. But he was doing that job every day to provide for 5 kids. And so he didn't wake up in the morning saying, I can't wait to go to Perry Printing. I wake up every morning saying, I can't wait to go to the ballpark. I'm going to a ballpark, not paying, seeing the best players in the world, and, getting to do something you thought was an absolute fantasy.
And the best seat in the house.
Best seat in the house.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, trust me, I know how blessed I've been, Jay. And so that for me, that never gets old. And if it does, then it's time that you get out of there, because then you're cheating people.
Now, it can be glamorous, but there's also a different side to it. What's the worst thing about being a baseball lifer?
Away from your family. We just talked about having a grandchild. My wife, you better be married to a great woman if you've got a baseball career, because trust me, when we had 4 children within 7 years of each other, nobody broke their arm or broke a leg or needed stitches when I was at home.
Yeah.
That always happened when Dad was on the road and it fell in the lap of Mom. And so my wife, Wendy, is just an incredible mother. I don't think, and I think we all feel this way about our wives and our own moms, but I know how lucky my children have been to have her as their mom and for me to have her as my wife. So that's the toughest part. And then you missed a lot of kids' games. I was lucky enough to make sure I was there when I could be there, but there's some moments there that you never get back. But again, there are a lot of guys traveling in this life that miss their kids' games because they're on a sales call on the West Coast. That's just all part of it.
Yeah. Best advice you've ever been given in life, and who gave it?
Well, outside of my parents, and I could go on and on about that because I had incredible parents, so everything they told me has come true. As far as professionally, it came from Herb. The late, great Herb Score. Our first year together was 1990, and I'm thinking, we're in Tucson for spring training. One, I can't believe I got the job. Can't believe I'm in Arizona. And, I'm all giddy about the ball club, and, this is going to be a playoff team. And Herb looked at me and, yeah, let me tell you something, young man. This ball club is horse blank. And it is going to have a bad year. And that's not going to affect the way we do the game. And that's the best advice I ever got. He said, when the game starts, the record doesn't mean anything. The game is all that matters. That game may be the highlight of somebody's day. It could be a shut-in. It could be somebody that can't see. Whatever the case may be. And again, back in those days, television wasn't as prevalent. You didn't have every game on TV. You might have 40 games on TV. And so the best advice I got from Herb was, you better not let the team's record impact the kind of effort and broadcast that you provide.
Yeah. What was your first job?
Well, outside of growing up on the farm and doing chores that my parents had, going and getting eggs from the chicken coop was like, oh.
Yeah.
And you've never smelled anything worse than that. But just doing all those little chores, and then probably basically baling hay and stuff at friends' farms. But I worked in a cheese factory in Waterloo. We picked pickles. We detasseled corn. If there was a bad job, I had it. Newspaper boy, up at 5 a.m. and it's 20 below. But you know what? That's all part of, I think, what created hopefully a work ethic. And, my parents were strong believers in that, you better work and nothing's going to be handed to you. And it's you try to give that advice to your kids. Sometimes we probably spoil them too much, but that's why you have grandchildren.
The Midwest way, right? Your dream golf foursome, and it can be, doesn't have to be baseball, it can be sports, it can be movies, it can be politicians, inventors. I'm giving you 3 spots for your dream foursome. Who are they?
Oh my Lord.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Probably because I'm Catholic, big deal would be to have the Pope.
Yeah. Don't know if he's much of a golfer, but it'd be fun to watch.
Par could be whatever he said it was.
That's right.
It might be
20
10.
on this hole.
Who's going to argue? I was a big fan of John F. Kennedy growing up. Of course, I was so young then, I didn't know. But the more you read about him and what he meant, I think that would certainly be someone. I tell you what, Jay, we got kind of spoiled last year because we had him for an inning in the booth, but Tom Hanks, and he was the most incredible guest we've ever had in the booth. He was with us for an inning. He is the most humble person I've ever met. I mean, this guy's a star. And we're between innings and he's looking at the book we have, what are called drops, that we have basically a 10-second commercial that you read during the inning when the game's going on. And Tom goes, Tom, can I read these? Can you put me to work? Tom Hanks.
Wow.
So these sponsors that had Tom Hanks read their drop, got more than they ever bargained for, but I would still include him. He was just, if you ever start to get cynical about society and people, man, oh man, I wish you could be around Tom Hanks, because it was one of the most refreshing days. And Bobby D was saying they took him all over the ballpark. All he wanted to do was meet everybody. Concessionaires, people cleaning the ballpark. Nobody was beneath Tom Hanks. And that's the way Tito is. And that's why I think Tito is so successful. He doesn't think he's more important than the guy that's cleaning the ballpark. And that's an incredible character, piece of your character to have. And boy, the fourth, there better be a female in there somewhere, and just trying to think offhand, I think it would probably have to be some kind of a female musician just to round it out.
Right.
And now I'm just kind of drawing a blank, but
Yeah.
I'm good at doing that.
Dolly Parton. She'd bring the humor. Don't know how good a golfer she'd be.
Might be distracting. Maybe somebody else.
She'd talk in your backswing, I guarantee it. I guarantee you she would talk in your backswing. Can I caddy for that group, by the way?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That'd be a hell of a day.
That really would be.
That'd be a hell of a day.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks.
My gosh, thank you. It's
so
great
much,
seeing
man.
you, Jay.
Yeah, you too, as always.